Hello all YouTubers, I'm the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning back into this hurricane season discussion for September 18th, 2020. Before I get on with today's video, however, if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest forecast and best forecast from the Weather Dude, then please, every single one of you that is not subscribed, please click the subscribe and the ring and the notification bell so you guys stay up to date with the latest The Weather Dude content. And also, please watch the whole video. Thank you guys so much, by the way, for 1,000 subscribers. It really does mean a lot to me. And this is taking the next step towards monetization, so please watch the whole video. It really does help out my channel a lot. And also, please give this video a like and share this with your friends. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. Now, this is my 21st hurricane season discussion, and I know it's been a very long time since I did one of these. It might have been a month, I think, more or less. So I'm very excited to talk about the tropics today. There's so much to talk about. So that's why I decided to do my 21st hurricane season discussion. I thought I was going to stop after 20, but I decided to do another one anyway. And as for my other upload today after this one, please consider checking it out. And I also posted about it on my community post if you guys didn't know. We have hit the Greek alphabet in our hurricane season. We have Alpha, which already made landfall in Europe. But then we have Beta, that is going to be turning in the Gulf of Mexico and potentially be something similar to Harvey from 2017. So that'll be very interesting. So check that upload out after this video as well. But let's get started. So signs of a hyperactive, well, why the season has been, because we're not really saying why the season will be hyperactive, because we already know what has been, right? We've entered the Greek alphabet officially. I believe we are on our 24th named storm now. All right, so again, we have moved to La Nina alert. We're pretty much in a La Nina at this point. So again, La Nina coming month, 70% chance is the latest update from the Bureau of Meteorology here. We probably are in a La Nina already. If you look at the Nino 3-4 charts, we've really been in there for a while. And a La Nina alert does not guarantee a La Nina will occur, but I think we might have actually, has been the latest. They do issue these pretty often, and maybe it hasn't officially become a La Nina yet, but all the factors pretty much lining up. Well, for one, at least for October, all the models indicate La Nina, right? Every single one of these 8 models here. And then the mean tells you the average of these 8 models. And basically they're calling for 1.1 Celsius below average, which pretty much, I mean, we're borderline, maybe even close to moderate La Nina. And then by November, right, a lot of the models go farther towards left. More La Nina, right? Cooler waters in the Pacific. We got nearly 1.5, like 1.4 degrees Celsius below average. I'll say I could go all the way through February or March, but I'm not going to do that because it's a hurricane season discussion, and hurricane season doesn't last that long. But what I will show you guys now is the Burrow model, and the last graph I showed you, this was updated on August 15th. This is now September 12th. You can see that a lot has changed since then over the past month. Even though we're predicting now a sharper decline, there's also going to be a sharp incline back towards ENSO neutral just in time for mid to late winter. So that'll be really interesting to see if we can get back into neutral by late winter, because I know that La Nina, it does result in usually maybe some cooler conditions depending on where you live, and some wetter conditions, especially some cold conditions in the northern plains, right? But ENSO neutral is really that sweet spot for the winter time for like the eastern United States. So it'd be great if we can get back to neutral maybe just for February or even March. But by December, woof, we're predicting the Bureau of Meteorology, the Burrow model, maybe a moderate La Nina, maybe closer to a strong La Nina. Again, this green line is the average of all these spaghetti models here. Some make it more of a weaker La Nina. Some take it all the way down to a, strong La Nina. All right, so here is our Nino 3-4 probabilities. And as you can see, for October, 1.3 Celsius below average. November, we dropped to 1.6. But then notice this, December, January, we start going back up a little bit, right? Those numbers get less and less. We get closer to neutral, maybe even El Nino. And La Nina chances are pretty high, right? October, 95, 99% by November, and then the chances drop off significantly by the time we head towards January. By January, it becomes a 50-50 shot. It almost becomes a toss-up, right? So it looks like the neutral chances will go up as we head farther out in time. And it looks like as we head farther out in time, the La Nina chances will therefore drop. But El Nino chances are still at plain old zero, old goose egg. Okay, so really no chances for El Nino. Now, normally we would have 3 of these kind of maps here, but since So each of these graphs will go every 2 months. So October is the only one I can show you because that's the earliest one I could find. And if I were to show you 2 months later, that'd be December, and that's not hurricane season. So we have, since we're getting so close to the end of hurricane season, the only map we have left for this is October. And sea surface temperature anomaly, probably around 0.8. I bet you that at this point it's probably a lot lower than that. I think it's actually like around 1.2, right? Because we just been going down so much. It's becoming La Nina pretty quickly. I know that we were forecasting a little bit earlier, and it got moved later and later, but when it came and really no one noticed. All right, some people didn't notice because we've been in neutral for so long. They said La Nina's going to be in August, or they said, at first I think they said like April and May, didn't happen. Then June, July, then eventually now it's finally happening, and that's why hurricane season is becoming so active. And so here's the sea surface temperature anomalies as of this morning. Northeastern Gulf, obviously we just had devastating Hurricane Sally. All right, I did technically I did 2 live streams covering it, but as you know, the first one didn't go too well. It got broken up into 2. So technically, yeah, 2 or 3 videos on Sally of those live streams. So just check them out if you want to. All right, but since Hurricane Sally moved through there, powerful hurricane, it cooled those ocean water temperatures a little bit. So that's why the Northeastern Gulf is a little bit below average. But where Beta, tropical storm, it's so weird to say that, where tropical storm Beta is churning, we got some warmer than average water. Same with the Caribbean, same for just west of Bermuda. Right between the Bermuda and the East Coast, we have some very warm waters here, at least far above average than what they should be anyway. In our actual sea surface temperatures, we have for the Western Gulf 30 Celsius, 30 for much of the Caribbean, 29 to 30 Celsius for much of the Western Atlantic as well, including along that magical Gulf Stream that really, the sea surface temperatures are really a lot higher, helps those hurricanes get going. Then we got the sea surface temperature anomalies in the tropical Pacific, right around the Cabo Verde Islands, right where these tropical waves emerge. We have a lot of warm water right in that MDR region, where those tropical systems really get their act together. Then it moves into the part of the Western and Central Atlantic where the water gets really, really warm over out in here. All right, so very interesting season we have on our hands. Now, sea surface temperatures, like if you were to watch my hurricane season discussion for this year, if you were to watch from back, say, April or May, you might notice that the yellow was kind of back towards here. It might have even been farther west than that. It might have been all the way down here. But as we headed throughout in time, those 80-degree waters continued to spread and spread and spread, like I said. And then look at this. Now the MDR region, widespread 82-degree water temperatures, even parts of the far northern Atlantic, we're picking up water temperatures greater than 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's really interesting. And I know some people have some complaints about the CDAS. Sometimes I've even been noticing they've been a little, they might have a little biased. So it's always nice to include more maps as well. So here we have from the NOAA, our NESDIS, our coral reef watch anomalies, right? Our sea surface temperature anomalies. You can see here's your developing La Nina, boom, right there. It looks especially greater farther towards the east, closer to that Nino 1-2 region. But it's really the Nino 3-4 region, which is down here, which really helps determine that La Nina. And even that, right, still way cooler than average. But notice what's happening now. As a little sneak peek for the winter, we're starting to see a lot more warmer waters building off the Gulf of Alaska, south coast of Alaska. So maybe that jet stream can go one of a couple of ways this year. That's going to help determine our winter pattern as well. All right. Now, again, as for the Nino 3-4 region, cooler than average. Then you look out, again, look kind of the same as the CDAS, actually, pretty much the exact same. Caribbean Gulf is pretty warm except for that northeastern corner. We got the tropical Atlantic looking pretty warm. Western Atlantic along the east coast looks pretty warm as well. And then you got your sea surface temperature anomalies. Pretty much well, not yellow, because yellow means 25 Celsius, and that doesn't equal 80 Fahrenheit. Anywhere in that light orange color or dark orange, that's where your 80 plus region is. But look at where the Nino 3-4 region is. That little sliver there of some cooler water, where south of it we have warm water, north of it we have warm water. All right, but right in between, all right, looks a little cooler. So obviously because of the cooler waters there, that's how it got led to a La Nina, and the waters are cooler well south of Hawaii. Now, as for the Caribbean, 3/4 of a degree, okay, above average. Caribbean has been above average in terms of our sea surface temperatures since at least the beginning of June, maybe even longer than that. Obviously, this graph only goes back towards mid-June, so I couldn't really tell. If you want to go hunt through my my last few hurricane discussions, you might be able to find out. As for the MDR region, 0.5 degree, right, above average, which is very good. We haven't really dropped below average yet. We dropped to the average line exactly. We dropped right on the average line twice. But we haven't fallen below average on the MDR yet either since at least mid-June. North Atlantic, though, has been kind of back and forth, right? It's always been one of those back and forth kind of situations. But starting in mid-July and then lasting all the way until now, the North Atlantic has kept up a good streak as well as some warmer water. It's been a little up and down, but overall we kept it above that zero line. And this is where your subtropical system could develop, right? Well in North Atlantic. This does include, I'm sure, the Arctic as well, so you have to take that into account. But this does include the northern parts of the Atlantic Ocean. Then, over in the East Tropical region, kind of where the MDR region is, kind of in that same general area, it's always up and down, right? I mean, we go up over the zero line, down below, and back up again. So they've pretty much been hovering around the average line, maybe slightly above average as for right now, but that'll probably change the next day, all right? Now, the Nino 3-4 index, wow. After the end of July, it's been you can definitely see the trend has gone down. We've had a little bit of up and down, but overall the trend has been so far down, and now we're 3/4 of a degree below average, whereas the Caribbean was 3/4 of a degree above average. So it's like the complete opposite here. So we're plunging, and we're definitely in some kind of weak La Nina right now, based on these sea surface temperatures. But again, it has to stay there for a certain period of time. It's not like as soon as those sea surface temperatures get cold, we can call it a La Nina. Not true. Now here's your tropical. You're kind of like your convection, right? We're talking about the convection a lot. Obviously, the green means more convection, more of a less stable atmosphere, more energy can get going. Those storms can get going to develop into potential hurricanes in the future. Then you have your orange and red regions where not as much convection, the air is more stable and dry, not as moist. So you can see that. This is from September 17th here to the 24th. And you can see that all across much of the Eastern Atlantic, or Eastern Pacific, and Western Atlantic, even the Gulf of Mexico, surprisingly, maybe some less activity, but that doesn't seem to be the case with beta forming out there right now. This is just saying less than average convection. It doesn't mean just because the red color is there means we're going to have no convection at all. But notice we have a more enhanced convection out in the tropical Atlantic, which is why we're still seeing a lot of tropical waves come off of there. Also, I know it's kind of like one of those maps, so if you were to keep going east of Africa, it would go this way. So you can kind of see the entire continent of Africa there still, in case you guys were wondering. Then we move on to the 24th of September to the 1st of October. Notice over in mainland Africa, this is where a lot of, believe it or not, mainland Africa is where a lot of the convection that is soon to come off into the Atlantic. This is where it originates from, right there in Central Africa on the left side of your screen. So more convection over there, which actually, if you go west, it continues right here. There's Africa there again. Overall, though, the Atlantic seems to be pretty average during this time period. Maybe the Gulf could get a little active again, the 24th to the 1st. But this is just saying the convection, right? There's so many more factors. The wind shear, the dry air, there's so many more factors. But then look at this. Maybe another resurgence in tropical activity October 1st to October 8th, especially in the East Pacific and the Caribbean and the Gulf, especially a lot more convection there. But the Atlantic as a whole, going to see a big increase in convection potentially, and that's not good. We can see another spike. September has been ridiculous. I mean, even in August, there was still a decent amount of dry air in the tropics, and somehow the systems have found their way around it. But September has been ridiculous, right? Now, our tropical intensity index, parts of the Central Gulf, pretty much all the Caribbean, we got some highly favorable conditions for tropical development. Then we have our 850 millibars cyclonic vorticity. There's Beta, there's Major Hurricane Teddy, then we got Wilfred down there. I believe that is what is left of Paulette, which is still a very strong storm. It's just not organized enough to be classified as a hurricane anymore. Then we look at our TCHP maps from the NOAA yet again, looking at how far underwater can we maintain these 80-degree water temperatures. Obviously, the farther underwater we go, the better. As you can see, these deeper orange and red shade colors, 150, 175. Once you get higher up on the totem pole like that, there's a lot more warm water, basically. And this is saying your tropical cyclonic heat potential is really high. The reds and the whites and the pinks there, that really tells the story right there. Same map for the Gulf of Mexico. Again, hasn't really changed much from a month ago. But we have seen some more cyclonic heat building up. Some of the energy from the Caribbean tends to spill into the Gulf via the Gulf Stream, maybe some air currents as well. We're starting to get a little bit more heat energy into the southern Gulf now that's coming from the Caribbean. Now, when you look at this is our dry air, and the first thing that might come to your eye, I know this is probably the first thing that drew attention to you guys, was boom, look at Hurricane Teddy go. Wow, that is a beast of a storm. Thankfully, it looks like it's running into some dry air, possibly a little bit of shear. So that's good news because Bermuda's right there. All right, so we got a lot of dry air that's going to really kind of like tear down on some of that rain. Because the wind shear can get tied to storm all at once, but the wind shear can weaken the rainfall, but not really. All it really does is weaken the storm's strength, like its wind strength overall. And it doesn't mess with its organization, but it can still carry a good amount of rain, right? Let's say we have a tropical depression, just a tropical depression that formed and never became a storm, it just stayed a tropical depression. And let's say it just stalled over, I don't know, the East Coast for about 5 days. Then it brought like dozens of inches of rainfall. What would be worse, that or just a Category 1 hurricane that came in really fast and left, right? I would probably go with the Category 1 hurricane, right? I would probably take that over a storm that just sits there and stalls. So just keep that in mind, that the storm doesn't need to be too strong for it to cause a lot of problems in terms of the wind strength, because a 70-mile-an-hour tropical storm, I've noticed, draws nobody's attention. But once it goes up that magical leap by 5 miles an hour to a hurricane, and people start getting concerned. So just keep that in mind for you guys. I just want to make sure you guys are prepared for the season, even though it's been going on a long time, and we still got a long ways to go. So there's Beta over there. Actually, the storm itself is probably sitting right about there. We got Teddy over here. We got Wilfred and remnants of Paulette are mixed in there somewhere. It's got a lot of dry air tied in there, so it's kind of hard to see it. So that's your dry air graph. Now, wind shear, again, Teddy is battling some of that. It's going to have to battle a couple of areas of shear before hitting Bermuda. Bermuda will still get a Category 1 or 2 hurricane, so keep that in mind. But thankfully, they won't get the major hurricane aspect of Teddy. But look at Beta, though. Look at a lot of the shear that's ahead of it. All right, so that's pretty interesting. So it could run into some shear. It could be going down, though, over the coming days as well. But like I said, you might be thinking, well, Beta's going to move north into this area of shear and die out. No. You got to keep in mind, this is another slow-moving system. All right, we'll be talking about that in another video, of course. But Beta is going to stay still right here. So it's not going to be moving north into an area of strong wind shear yet. Eventually, it will have to, but not right now. So it's got time to build some strength a little bit. Now, again, tropical cyclone heat potential, Western Gulf, we have that, but it's especially the Bahamas and the Caribbean where we have the most tropical cyclonic heat to develop those hurricanes. Caribbean, we've recently been below average on wind shear, which is why we've been getting some tropical activity in there. It's been getting a chance to get better organized. Tropical Atlantic, we are now below average on shear as well. All right, you look from the 18th to the 23rd, we go to the 23rd to the 28th. I mean, you guys can see there's some below average shear is trying to make its way into the Caribbean, into the tropical Atlantic. So that means that more activity could be in our near future. Then the 29th to the 4th, 29th of September to the 4th of October. Wow. Okay, we got some below average shear out there by Africa, but maybe some more shear. But like I said, shear is always low this time of year anyway. So even if the wind shear is 10 knots above average, I think a storm could certainly manage. Now, this is updated just today. Obviously, I had to update it because we're not going to see another 8 to 12. I mean, we could see another 8 to 12 storms, but I did want to give this another update. I think the numbers, what they actually are, could be a tad bit higher than this. But I think it's a good prediction for 4 to 8 additional named storms, 2 to 4 hurricanes, and 1 to 2 additional major hurricanes. And this is what you would see in an entire season normally, right? 12 named storms, 6 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. At least in the named storm perspective, I think we just about doubled that, and it could even be more in the coming weeks. And so again, watch them steering patterns because, like Beta, if we get a high pressure to the north, that could draw the storm eventually, based on how slow it's moving. Eventually, it'll make its way into the Gulf Coast. And so watch for the steering patterns. I always put this map up here because it's very concerning. You have to watch steering patterns. That can determine how fast the storm moves. They can determine where it's going to go, and it's very important because track can change just like that in a couple of hours. So keep that in mind, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Check out my other upload where I talk about Beta. I gave Beta, Tropical Storm Beta, a special video because it could be impacting a lot of people in the Gulf Coast that just got hit by both Laura on the western Gulf Coast, you want to call it, Texas, Louisiana, and then when Sally just hit the eastern part of the Gulf Coast states like Alabama and Florida. So we don't need Beta thrown into the mix, and that's not going to be a good thing. So it's a very important video. Please check it out. I am the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video.